What's going on YouTube? This is JD here, or Nux. As you can see, I'm in the outdoors again. It's a very nice day outside. It's in the 70s, warmer than last week. As you can see, I got the shorts on. Um, yeah. Today's probably going to be a shorter video than the last. I always say that, but considering that I just came from the therapist, only because my Monday's appointment got rescheduled to today. There's really not much to get out. Episodes really didn't really have any panic attacks this week, which is a very good thing. But at the same time, I'm doing a lot of self-improvement for my mind. Not worrying about a lot of things that I used to worry about, considering that it's kind of normal. And it's only becomes troublesome when you put a lot of thought into it. So you can say that this video is going to be somewhat a beginning of a recovery stage. So, yes, I mean, like, today I did something that I really haven't done in a long time. Pretty much went to Walmart. Well, that's not exciting, obviously, but went to Walmart and did a little walking around. I actually stayed there for a little bit just to, get the blood pumping, get the heart pumping. Considering that now I know that my heart is not in any danger whatsoever. Considering that I watched a couple of YouTube videos last night of people who basically record their heart rate, record their heartbeats, and I've seen some pretty interesting videos of people's heartbeats going rapidly and they're not even really doing anything. Like, last night I saw a video of a guy basically, after he took a shower, he took a microphone and just basically put it up to his chest and recorded his heart rate, and it ended up being really, really fast. And I'm sitting there watching the video and I'm just like, whoa, is that normal? So after watching that video, I was getting concerned. It's like, your heart rate is kind of high. It's like around 180, I want to say. At least that's what I saw in the comments. And a lot of people were basically looking at the commenting on the video, and they were saying stuff like, "You have a really good heartbeat. That's very healthy. The heartbeat's really strong and everything." And not one comment about someone being concerned for the heart rate being that fast after a shower. And I'm like, I was pretty much the only one concerned about, like, I thought he had a problem. I thought he had some sort of problem where, like, he has a heart condition. And his heart was just going so fast. And he was just standing still, putting the microphone up into his chest. And his heart was beating so fast. I couldn't understand it. But everyone was just basically commenting on how good that was and how healthy that was. I mean, obviously it slowed down with the other videos he's done. But it seems that he doesn't really have a problem or anything. He just records his heart rate and everything. And it's fascinating to me how he's so calm about that happening, and everyone else is just so amazed by it that nobody seems to be concerned about why the heart rate is beating so fast. So, and I've seen a lot of videos like that last night, and that just really took a lot of ease off of my mind. It really took a lot of stress. I mean, I was reducing stress a lot this past week anyway. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I didn't really mind my therapist canceling their appointment and changing it to today. Because I was really, easing up the tension, really understanding what my anxiety was all about, really understanding what was going on. So I didn't really feel, I don't really feel as stressed as I used to anymore. I think I pretty much figured out why this whole anxiety phase is going through me. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with this. It's basically, ever since college, I have not been the healthiest person. I mean, well, food-wise, I didn't eat the best diet. I mean, I didn't have the best diet. I kind of had a really bad diet. I mean, I didn't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables in my life. I mean, I ate fruits like grapes, apples, stuff like that. I'm always eating fruits. I was always eating fruits, but not the way I should be. Vegetables was very light. I've always ate, like, French fries, cheesesteaks, When I was in college, that's what they had: hamburgers, anything that was fried, grilled, and that would just make me become full. And that was always my diet, whenever I went out to go get something to eat, if I went to a restaurant, you know, that was pretty much the way I've eaten. And it was the only vegetable I would really eat constantly was corn. That was it. And it wasn't the best diet, but the thing is, I was still active when I was in college, obviously. So I was still active, so it didn't really hit me to then. I guess once after I graduated college, I wasn't really that active. With my part-time job, I didn't really work every day. I didn't really become active as I should be. And I was still eating the same way. I didn't eat as badly as I did in college because I didn't have a lot of access to that food, to those foods. But I still didn't have the best diet after I left. And with me not being active as I should have been, especially at a young age, I guess it really, I guess it's catching up to me. I guess it caught up to me. And I've been doing a lot of researching online. And I've learned that sometimes anxiety can come from your stomach, your gut, and could be caused by your bad diet or a bad diet, depending on how long you've been on a bad diet. And that's the only logical reasoning that I'm going through, the anxiety that I'm going through. Like, I'm not going through, it's basically a health anxiety. I fear that my heart is in trouble. I fear that if I was to go out or do anything outside of the house, or where I'm not if I'm not near a professional, a medical professional of some sort, or a specialist, or my father, or somewhere where I can't get medical attention right away, I would fear that, something is going to happen, like a panic attack, or worse, a heart attack. And that's what I feared the most. And it took me a while to really figure out that I am not really in danger. Obviously with people with GAD and general anxiety disorder, agoraphobia and everything, these thoughts, it's hard to get rid of. It's really, really hard to get rid of, especially when your body is going through the symptoms. Like for me, if the body didn't go through symptoms, if I didn't have any symptoms at all, I wouldn't even, like I said this before, I wouldn't even be making this video. So it was all because of the symptoms. It's all because of what I've been going through. And I really think it's starting to catch up to me. I think the body's trying to warn me that, you can't be on a diet that you were on before for the rest of your life. Because if you are, by the time you're 40 or something like that, you could develop a heart disease or anything like that. And that's true. Obviously, the body wants me to be more active. Wants me to eat a little bit better, which I have, Basically, my diet has changed immensely. I'm pretty sure I said this in the other videos, but for you new people, when I went to see my doctor in January 28th, that's when I was in the emergency room for a really bad panic attack, 3 days after I first had my palpitations. I went to go see my doctor. He weighed me, and from what I remember, I was 214. I weighed 214 when I went to the doctor's that day. And he basically told me, for a person my age, for my height, and to weigh that much, it's not the best weight at all, to weigh 214. I'm like a person who probably should weigh around anywhere from 140 to 170, I guess, or 180. And with the diet that I've been doing, I really haven't been doing much exercise because of my fear of my heart exploding or anything like that. But with the diet I've been doing, which is basically the NutriBullet. If you know what the NutriBullet is, it's basically a blender that you'll see on commercials. You can basically YouTube it right now, or pause this video, YouTube it right now, NutriBullet. And the diet that I've been on, and this has basically been mostly every day, it's like I'll put two bananas, an apple, an orange, and sometimes some grapes, depending on what else I put in there. But that's basically been my diet. I would have those at least once a day. And it's basically a fruit smoothie. A fruit smoothie, basically, pure. You know what I'm saying? And I would make those at least a good 5 days out of the week. You know, maybe every day back then, but as of now, it's kind of like around 5 days out of the week. I had one yesterday, and that's basically been strictly my diet. Not really just that, but like I would have other foods, you know, other foods that my dad would cook, and basically I was on the mentality that if my dad can eat it, so can I, because he actually has a health issue where he has to watch what foods he eats. And if he can eat it, basically I can eat it. So that's my mentality as of now. Starting to shift back into my former mentality, but I'm starting to regulate what foods I eat now. But basically, yeah, the fruit smoothies has been my diet, and been mostly my diet. I would have that every day. And ever since that day, January 28th, I weighed 214 that day. And as of now, on May 1st, I weigh at least 178. So I've lost a lot of pounds. I lost over 40 pounds, if I'm saying it right. Yeah, I did. I lost pretty much over 40 pounds since then. Close to 40 pounds or something like that. Doesn't matter. But I lost that amount of weight since January by just sticking with my diet, sticking with, you know, the fruit smoothies for most of the day, most of the week, you know, most of my time. Starting to go back into meat, but I don't really eat much red meat anymore, unless it's turkey meat. But red meat I don't really eat. White meat I'm starting to stick to it if it's not too juicy. So those are the changes that I've been making. Still going through symptoms, obviously, you know, but I'm starting to physically feel better. You know, at least that my body weight is not going to be as much as a concern as for now, unless I go back to the diet that I had once had before, which I'm never going to do again. You know, if I'm going to have fast food, it's going to be at least every now and then, at least, you know, once a week, or once in a blue moon, maybe once in a blue moon. So changing up my diet and caused me to lose a lot of weight, and pretty much my pant size used to be a size 38, and I believe as of now I'm a size 34. That's how much weight I've lost. At least that's how much fat I lost. And to be honest, I still need to lose the fat. I still got fat because I have not been exercising. I still got a little bit of fat on me. And after today, after walking around and feeling really comfortable, especially in this beautiful weather, I'll show you the landscape and stuff like that. It's really beautiful weather. It's really very comfortable, 70 degrees. And with the walking that I did today, you know, I felt at ease. I felt that I can exercise again. I felt that I could get out more and just really, you know, start to get into the motion of changing my life around. So I really need a lifestyle change. Really need a good, you know, lose the fat off of my stomach. I feel that if I lose the fat off of my stomach, that'll make some significant changes, especially within the nerves. So changing all that up, there's a lot of gnats out here. Changing all that up, I feel that, and changing that up and knowing that I'm making some general mental improvements, I feel much more at ease with myself and getting my mind right. And, you know, sooner or later I'll become better. I'll become more at ease and get out and become back to my normal self with a new lifestyle change. So that's basically, this is basically a blog about how I'm starting to recover and everything. So, like I said, I'm still feeling some things every now and then, but I'm learning not to put your mind to it, because I think one of the main things that I've taught myself, and like I said, I'd never used any antidepressants. I haven't been on any anxiety medication except for beta blocker, which is just to calm the heart rate down whenever it goes, you know, high. And that was for my sake, because I thought a heart rate that high would be really bad, really bad. But apparently, it's not actually that bad, considering that one of the things I've taught myself is that A heart rate, a very fast heart rate isn't necessarily bad unless you have a known heart condition. Um, if you have a panic attacks can be scary and are scary. It's very uncomfortable. You don't want it to happen. You don't want your heart to be beating so fast whenever you don't want to. But the one thing I've been learning, and the one thing I've been teaching myself, is that sometimes it's actually good for the heart. When your heart beats fast, it's basically like your heart is strengthening itself. And usually it's done by exercising or doing some sort of activity to where you're getting you're becoming more fit. But I've learned not to be afraid of panic attacks anymore. Because the one thing I've learned is that panic attacks will not kill you. My panic attack will not turn into a cardiac medical emergency. Um, it's very, very rare. I mean, if it does end up being a cardiac emergency, then it's not a panic attack. It's actually a real medical emergency, which I really haven't heard of anyone going through that when they're suffering from anxiety. So, in considering that I've been built with I've been built with a healthy heart, built with a clean, you know, I've been told I have a good bill of health, in general, especially with the blood work I've been going through. There's no issue with my body that could become a medical emergency anytime soon unless I overdose on anything, which is not going to happen. So, knowing that a panic attack is something that only slows you down and stops you for a while because your mind is racing on what could be happening. But when a panic attack happens, at least for me, I am learning not to become afraid of it. I learn to embrace it, honestly. I learn to embrace it because when it happens, it basically pumps up the heart. It exercises the heart. And when your heart pumps that fast, it's strengthening. Usually it should be done when you're exercising, but it's like a pre-adrenaline rush that you don't really find usually comfortable, but it happens. So that's what I've been learning. So many bugs out here. That's what I've been learning to cope with. I'm learning to cope with anxiety attacks. And when you cope with anxiety attacks or panic attacks or with anxiety in general, you become less afraid of it. You're putting positive thoughts to your mind. And this is what's been helping me for the past week and a half. And I've been learning about, especially with the heart rate and everything. Like, I've been freaking out over my heart rate when it's supposed to be is actually normal. Like sometimes when you're sitting down, depending on who you are, unless you're sitting down for a while, if you sit down, your heart rate is usually should be around 70 beats per minute to around 85 or even 90. That's honestly kind of normal. I mean, my heart rate fluctuates, so sometimes like around this time it could be around in the upper 80s. I don't know what it is now because I really don't care. And all I know is that if it is going fast, it's pumping and pumping, and it's exercising. I don't have any heart problems or anything like that. If it's going normal, then it's normal. So one thing I've learned that when you're sitting down, your heart rate of 80 to 70 to 85 to 90 is not necessarily a bad thing, especially after you eat. And they always try to scare you, saying like, oh well, if you're sitting down, your heart rate's going over 100, that's a bad thing, you got to go to the doctor or tell your doctor. And it's like, that's really not necessarily the case. And this is what really drove me into a hypochondriac stage, is because I really thought that when your heart rate goes over 100 for any reason, even when not really if you're exercising, but if you're sitting down for whatever reason, and like you have adrenaline going, that's honestly a bad thing. Even when you're standing, like if you're standing, your heart rate should be around 90 through 110. I mean, it could be around 70 if you stand a while and let the blood take its time. But it's all normal. It's all normal, and everyone's different. It doesn't mean that just because yours is different from another person means you have heart problems. That is not always the case. And a lot of people online that I've researched freak out about this, and what they don't really notice that it's actually pretty normal. And that's what I've been going through. I've been really worrying about my heart so much that if it's not this kind of rate, even if I'm doing activity, like I used to think that when I was walking around doing exercises, not really exercises, but walking around doing chores around the house, doing some sort of activity around the house, like taking a shower, washing up, or doing some activity where my body is constantly moving. If I felt my pulse being a little bit fast, where it's over 100, I would freak out because I would think that it's not supposed to be like that, when that is actually normal. And if you freak out about that, people always try to tell you that, oh no, that's probably not so normal. It's like, you should really go see a doctor. And I'm going to tell you, I've been to the doctor so many times within the past couple of months. And every time he sees me, he rolls his eyes as if I'm going crazy. And he would check on me because I'm paying him to do that. And every time he would check up on me, especially with me going to the ER and everything, I will come back as a healthy person. So it's really all in my mind. This heart palpitations really confuse me so much that it's all in my mind, and I'm basically wanting my heart to be this certain rate when technically it's not supposed to be like that. And you know, my heart rate in general with what I'm doing, on a daily basis is actually normal. It's just that because of the palpitation, because of me noticing my heart rate, thumping a little bit hard, it doesn't mean it's harmful. It's actually not harmful to your body. You're just scares you because you never felt it before and you want it to stop because it's never been happening, when actually it's actually pretty normal. So knowing all of this, knowing that whatever happens to me, with body symptoms or anything like that, it is not harmful to me. It's not harmful at all. That is to just relax and just let it happen. So because of all this, I am much more relaxed, much more willing to go out and do things, much more willing to not worry about what's going to happen next. I can feel the buzzing sensations in my legs and every now and then, but that's part of the anxiety. And the anxiety is still going to linger within me, but, it's not going to be harmful. And the more positivity you put into your mind, it's going to stay there, and sooner or later, you're going to be feeling a lot better. So, that's basically been me for the past week and a half. And that's why it's basically going to be a short video. And my advice right now is to, if you've been to the doctor many times, if you've been told again and again and again that you have a clean bill of health, believe it. Okay, believe it. If you're a hypochondriac, stop worrying that you have an underlying issue, health issue, that the doctors are either ignoring, that you think that the doctors are ignoring, or they just can't find, because that is not the case. At least for me, or at least for anyone else, most hypochondriacs. Don't worry about it. Don't fret over it. Don't even worry about panic attacks. For at least for me, knowing that a panic attack cannot kill you, cannot hurt you in any way, at least mentally it can hurt you because you don't want it to happen. But physically it cannot hurt you, it cannot kill you or anything like that. I don't see a point in fearing a panic attack. And it's not that I want it to happen, but if it does happen, at least it'll happen and I won't be afraid of it. I'll just say, oh great, I'm going through a panic attack. I'll just let it subside whenever it wants to subside, and I'll go on with my day. That's basically how you have to think of it. And when you think of it like that, you're not adding more fear to your mind, and you're basically putting a better mindset to you, and it's calming you down. So this is basically what I've been doing with me in the past couple of weeks, week and a half. And another thing that I've been telling myself is that, especially when I'm outdoors, or doing something like taking a shower or anything like that, it does not make sense. It does not make sense that you would have a medical emergency if you're outdoors, outside of your house, if you're taking a shower or you're doing anything like that. It doesn't make sense for you to have a medical emergency just like that, or every time you feel it's going to happen. It does not make sense at all. So I tell myself a lot that. I tell myself that a lot. And that has helped me really get rid of the fear of anything that's going to happen with my health, or anything that's going to happen that could lead to a heart attack or anything like that. I feel a lot better. Like today when I was driving around, I even walked out in front of the mall. Like I went to the outlets today. I'm not sure if I said this already, but whatever. I went to the outlets today, and I just walked around for a while. I walked for a good 15 to 20 minutes. And I was just basically, letting my heart know that it's going to be okay. I mean, I didn't really get into the rising factor. I didn't feel that anxiety was about to come on. But I knew that if it was, that I would be prepared for it. And I was more motivated to get my heart pumping, to get faster by walking around doing some sort of exercise. I was motivated to do that now, knowing that when your heart does that, it's actually strengthening the heart muscles, and that's really good for you in the long run. So that's what I've been doing. I mean, the outlet where I shop at, in Jersey Shore Outlet, which is over on 66, is basically helped me basically reduce my agoraphobia. And I was really, really relaxed when I was, when I was there. I mean, I even, like I said, I got my hat stitched on. My name stitched on. I got a new hat. It's basically a Yankee hat. You can see that. And I waited about a good 10-15 minutes for it. And I was starting to sweat a little bit because the room was hot. But I said to myself, that's normal. And overall, I felt so much at ease. I didn't feel any type of anxiety when I was there. And I was like, yes, yes. And that's the first step of defeating your agoraphobia, if anyone has that. You have to face your fear. You have to tell yourself that you are not going to be in any danger. Like for me, it's knowing that my heart is actually very strong and is not going to go into a heart attack mode. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I basically was debating on not doing this video as of now. I wanted to do it later on tonight. But I decided to do it now just to get out of the way. And it's nice out and it's going to be a little bit warmer later on. So I decided why not. So, the only thing I will say that I left out is that I'm coming off of my medication, my beta blocker. I'm on the everyday pill now. And I'm slowly coming off of it. I think by next week I'll finally start to get off of it. Oh, excuse me. And because I'm going to be off of it soon, I think there's some sort of side effect of coming off of some sort of medication like that, like a beta blocker or antidepressant or whatever. Monday night, I ended up having a brain zap. Now, if you don't know what that is, some people who suffer from anxiety and getting off of medication, anxiety medication, getting off of it, will sometimes experience something called a brain zap. A brain zap is basically it feels like an electrical surge going through your head. Like out of nowhere, you could be laying down, and all of a sudden you get this weird, very weird, uncomfortable sensation going through your head. And if you've never felt that before, you would seriously think that you probably had some sort of neurological issue with your head, with your brain, that you would need medical attention. Well, obviously a brain zap, from what I've learned, is basically like I said, electrical surge going through your brain, and it just really feels uncomfortable. But what I've learned about them, that they are not harmful. There are people who've had them frequently for years and years and years. They are annoying. They are very annoying, but they are not harmful. And that was basically my second one, I believe. Could have been my first one. I'm not sure. But basically going through an anxiety website and finding all the lists of anxiety symptoms, that's one of the reasons why I've been calming myself, is that the anxiety symptoms that I've been feeling for the past 8 months since September, they were all on the anxiety list. So even with sleep, they were all on the anxiety list. So that eased my mind, knowing that what I thought I had back then was something very serious is basically something anxiety related that I can basically cure on my own. and I can get rid of on my own. So that put a lot of ease in my mind. It reduced a lot of tension. I really have not been feeling stressed for for a while. I still feel symptoms every now and then, but I learned to ignore them. So, um, knowing that, I am becoming more aware of what anxiety is doing and what it's doing to me. And the Brains app, knowing that that was also on the anxiety list, especially when you're coming off some sort of medication, it's going to happen, but it's not harmful. So that's why I'm not freaking out about it. That's why you don't see me all depressed. I'm pretty much very positive about what I'm saying. So, um, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's all this week. I mean, I'm going to be seeing my therapist again Monday, so it's pretty much quickly. I don't even see a point in seeing my therapist Monday because I don't think there's nothing really is going to change unless I have a very, very serious event, which I hope I don't, but if it's not going to be serious, if it's not going to be a medical issue, don't need to worry about it. So, um, doing a lot of calming down, like I said. Hopefully this is going to be the beginning of my journey back to normal. And hopefully I won't be having this anxiety problem. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this week's video. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying. I mean, if you want to, here's another view of my house. My house is like right behind me and everything. You can see right there. Nice day out. You can see there. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I will see you guys next week. And peace out. Later.